During Google Stadia's presentation at Gamescom this last week, they announced that Cyberpunk 2077 will be coming to Stadia, and they had a long featurette where the developers just talked about Cyberpunk 2077 and how cool it was, and they mentioned Keanu.
Keanu is amazing.
And it was great, and everybody loved it, and they went, wow, good for Stadia. They're really kicking it up a notch. I'm really proud of those boys at Googly. So the news here is really simple, and that is that Google Stadia has now added to its library possibly the most anticipated console game of next year. This year? When does this come out? It is April of 2020. So why is this important? Because they didn't reveal two things. One, they didn't reveal if it's going to be any different than the other console versions. They didn't imply that it would be, but there is some reasonable skepticism about how Google's streaming technology is going to perform under such a heavy load. Imagine if there is an initial buy-in group of Stadia users that is far more than Google estimates, and they all try to play Cyberpunk 2077 in the first quarter of 2020. Can the system handle that? The other thing is the consumer's internet. Does the average person have good enough internet to have a gaming experience streamed to them with little to no latency where they wouldn't notice it? I don't know. It seems a little far-fetched to me. But Google is the kind of company that maybe could solve this problem. I mean, think about what they've done with YouTube. 10 years ago, the idea of streaming HD, even 4K video to most people on their normal internet seemed insane to us. We didn't even know what 4K was. So maybe they're the exact kind of people that could pull a rabbit out of the hat here and stream a almost perfect to play game straight to our home. So why is Google pushing Cyberpunk 2077? And the answer is obvious, and that is because they want to snuff out the conversation that we just had. People aren't sure about the install base, they aren't sure about Google's network, they aren't sure about the consumer internet being able to handle this, and so Google is going to take a graphics-heavy, brand new, experimental, giant title like Cyberpunk 2077, super anticipated, super graphics heavy, top of the line, and they're going to say, we can stream it to your home with Stadia, no problem. And that is a heavy bet. That is them going all in. They are so sure that they can promise you this game in playable condition right now, and that is, in some ways, Google's attempt to assuage these fears. They want to say, look, we have no worries about getting this done. We are so confident we're going to put it in our presentation at Gamescom, and we are going to tell you that we can do this. So you guys shouldn't have any more discussions about can we stream Destiny to you, because we can stream Destiny, we can stream Cyberpunk 2077, it won't be a problem. They are so confident. Google is the kind of company that figures this stuff out, that they figure it out. Admittedly, there are always hiccups, but they do a lot better than most companies when figuring out network solutions. The only competitors I can really think of are Microsoft themselves and Amazon as far as network solutions are concerned. They're a top dog in that specific industry. So maybe they've got it figured out. Maybe the guys behind Google Fiber can do this. I don't know. It's an interesting gamble to say that not only will Stadia have it, but the implication, they didn't say it, but the implication is it will be just as good as playing it on a regular console. Stadia actually has a pretty stacked launch lineup. They've got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, they've got Destiny, they've got Doom, and they launch in November of this year. For a company that kind of just came out of the gates, it seems like they've got a pretty stacked hand, assuming that they can pull it off. I think we're just going to see how this whole thing with the Stadia pans out on launch. I mean, truth be told, it could come out of the gate and be perfect, and nobody will be worried about Cyberpunk 2077 because it does 60 FPS, Assassin's Creed, no latency, not a problem. But it might come out of the gate and stumble, and that's not picking on Stadia, that's every console. I mean, the Switch, which is one of the most successful consoles in recent memory, especially for Nintendo, had tons of online problems right out the gate. So I think that it's going to be sort of a wait-and-see thing. I kind of hope it works out because it'd be super cool if streaming, even if it's a technology I don't really believe in for gaming, if it's successful, it's successful, and that's great. But I think it's one of those things where we'll have to kind of judge Stadia as it makes its first few steps out of the gate. So I'll see you guys next week. The plan is to upload these every Wednesday and then try to get a different video up every Friday. I'm saying that out loud now so that I force myself to do it when this goes live on YouTube. So see you guys next week.